One work produced specifically about the revolution draws upon the popular signs and technologies of the events in the form of a graphic novel, Sidi Bouzid Kids, by Eric Borg, who was born and spent his early years in Tunisia, and Alex Talamba, who is a Romanian illustrator. Borg kept all the photos. He didn't keep all the photos, obviously, but he says he kept all the photos and short videos posted on the net. And these became a visual archive and source for the book's commixture of word and image. The first version, he says, was started as early as January 2011, then corrected and revised over months as the narrative changed. The story is a fiction, although the book has this red sticker attached, La Révolution Tunisienne. It's written in French, with most of the characters invented. And the central figure is a young man called Fouad, who is characterized as Mohamed Bouaziz's best friend. However, in the afterword to the book, as well as some sample storyboards, which are fascinating, Borg documents the actual events and real figures from the deposed president through the rapper El General, who we'll listen to at the end, to a 16-year-old tweeter. He also adds, in certain cases, for example, the famous slap by the police official, I've chosen to contradict the truth of the facts, those truths which were recognized by the tribunal, and I've kept, he said, the version of the story which appeared to me more interesting and pertinent. Similarly, in his depiction of Ben Ali and his family, he says, I know nothing about these people, how they live. But he has to imagine les arcanes du pouvoir, the inner workings, the arcane workings of power. So the text very effectively shifts its color palette with contrasting interior and exterior panels, and interestingly uses a very different gray and white mix to represent what are visual quotes from Facebook or phone cameras or television. I thought it was a very interesting technique, which I've not seen before. So he wants to show that he is using what was live material, and he's colored it in a way which will distinguish it from the rest of the panels. So the panels move from individual to mass representations, following in outline the trajectory of events, contrasting colors and shades. The police have darkened, shadowed faces, conveying the images and sounds of the street. And some of the sounds are drawn from the stock imagery of, the stock repertoire of graphic literature you remember from your childhood. Paf, blam, pow, translated into French. So those sounds come through, and a very real sense of the physical danger, the terror of the streets. Some of the panels are crowded with detail, but it's chaotic. Stones here, stones there, shields, police with batons, people throwing stones. It's that sense of chaos is conveyed. The ferment of ideas coming to the surface, and the excitement, frenzy, and violence of the moment. So these images and sounds give the visceral and physical impact of the events, the emotional and expressive edge of the novel. Now, Borg chose this particular form because of its popularity with young people, very much the focus of the text. And the book was apparently very well received in Tunisia. The form also uses the grammar of the verbal visual format to convey the events with a particular economy and accessibility. In particular, there are 4 or 5 events which seem to be very effectively conveyed in this form. The mummified image of Muhammad swathed in bandages in the hospital. The hypocritical and, as it happened to be, fatal visit of the president to his hospital bed. The funeral, and also, separately, the death of a young activist. So the narrative is very much driven by the negative circumstances in which Tunisian youth found themselves. More than half of the population under 20. While not claiming a Facebook revolution, digital technologies are seen as enabling resources for the young activists. Fouad says to the dying Mohammed in hospital, Youth is finally moving. It's beautiful.